What's up, everybody? Garrett back here. And man, being a physical media collector, you're totally going to understand what I'm going to talk about here. Man, I've been collecting physical media, as you guys can see, pretty much almost my whole life. I mean, I really started, I'm going to say in my teen years, I was really getting VHS tapes, mainly horror stuff, and kind of going from there. Heavily got into DVD. DVD was the format that I was obsessed with the most. That's really where like my prime and peak of physical media collecting came in, was the DVD days. So DVD always has a special place in my heart. I mean, I don't get rid of a lot of my DVDs, especially the horror stuff. To me, a lot of things like the old school VHS, the DVDs, they play an important part in like physical media history. I know to some people that might not make any sense or any difference at all, but seeing a lot of these companies coming out now with like all these limited editions, special editions, there was a lot of those back in the day with DVD, these exclusives and stuff like that. So now that I'm a little bit older, things are a little bit easier to come by with things like eBay. I've got a little bit more money I can spend than at the time when I was a younger kid in my late teens, early 20s, trying to acquire a lot of these movies for my collection. I love going back in time and acquiring some of these grails that I always wanted, but just never could get my hands on. I did a video not too long ago talking about a Phantasm Circuit City exclusive that I always was after, that I finally acquired. This is no different. This is an edition of something that I wanted 18 years ago when it was released. And I know this movie is not everybody's cup of tea. I always really enjoyed Rob Zombie's Halloween. I don't know why. I really just dug it. The first one, the second one, I never really could get behind. I've tried so many times. I'm a huge Scout Taylor Compton fan, but for some reason, and I don't know if it has to do with my first experience seeing Halloween 2 in theaters, how bad of experience that was, people booing. It was like midnight showing. It just was really a huge disappointment for a lot of people around that time. I know a lot of people have come around on that movie, but for some reason I just haven't. But when it comes to Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie, I always had a love for it. It's a little bit of a harder watch, I think, now with some of the cringy dialogue and stuff like that. But I always, at the time, was really, really into that movie. So much so that when it came out on DVD, I bought everything. So there was a couple times when some movies came out, they had all these different editions, exclusives to certain stores. And at that time of collecting, I was trying to pick up all these different editions. Halloween was no different. They had so many different editions when this came out that I was trying to get all of them. And there was one edition that I was never able to kind of get my hands on, and we'll talk about that in a second. But really quick, I just wanted to showcase the editions for Halloween on DVD that I do have, the Rob Zombie stuff, and a little bit about each of these and acquiring them and stuff. So the first one I got was something that was floating around kind of the interwebs, the bootleg era, the torrent site era. And I got this off a site back in the day, and that's the work print edition of Rob Zombie's Halloween. So this is not an official release at all. It's just a blank disc. But this is the work print edition, which again is a little bit different than all the other editions we got. I think the music has changed in this one. But yeah, this was the work print edition. This was one that was floating around the internet when this movie came out, and maybe even before it was released in theaters. But I did acquire that work print edition because it was a little bit different than anything we've seen thus far. So when this was released, it had two big editions that came out. The first one was this theatrical edition. Now, I'm not sure if this was exclusive to specific stores. I don't remember. Maybe this was like a Circuit City exclusive. And it was the theatrical cut of Rob Zombie's Halloween. And this has two discs in here as well. And again, it was just one of those ones where it was the only way to kind of get the theatrical cut at the time, because everybody was so hyped about this unrated, uncut version of Halloween, which again did have many different adaptations of it and releases of it. But this one was a Best Buy exclusive with this lenticular slip. So this was the unrated cut that most people were acquiring and getting at the time, but Best Buy had this lenticular slipcase here, which I always thought was really cool. So I did add this version to my collection day one when this came out. And as you can see, here's the edition that most people know. That's without that lenticular slip. It's got these little locking mechanisms. I forgot they did that. Also comes with an extra disc here, exclusive to Best Buy. And you have the 2 discs here as well. So features and the movie itself. So I remember day one, I was snagging these 2. I went to Circuit City, I went to Best Buy, I grabbed each of their editions, and I was happy. Later down the road, I did acquire this as well, and this was a Blockbuster Video exclusive. Now, as you can see, it's basically that same unrated artwork that we know. It came right from Blockbuster when they used to sell movies. And again, it's got a different disc there because this one has just a little bit more like inside special features, footage from the making of and stuff like that. So at the time, I wanted to grab this as well and add it to the collection. Now, not too long after that, they did put out this huge 3-disc ultimate collector's edition, unrated. You get everything. You get a 4-hour documentary. I mean, this thing is nuts. And if you guys remember when this came out, this was the one everybody was after at this point. Now, this one's a little bit different. This was when I started going to conventions. So as you can see, I do have this kind of signed up. Danielle Harris, Ken Forey's on this, Dave Furch is on this, Malcolm McDowell is on here. So I have a lot of signatures on this one because I did bring this to like one of the earlier conventions I went to. I personally don't like to get physical media signed anymore. I think that was like a huge mistake back in the day that I used to do. But I was new to the conventions. It's just very hard to display these. They get kind of banged up. So, I mean, unless you have some kind of display case or something, I wouldn't recommend getting physical media stuff signed personally. That was just something I did back then. I was kind of a newbie in the convention scene. But yeah, this one is the one that comes, you know, you got all these different discs on here. You got that new disc right there that wasn't on any of these other editions. So again, this was the one that everybody was after. It did come on Blu-ray, which I had as well. But we're just talking DVD today. So as you can see here, I literally have 5 editions of Rob Zombie's Halloween on DVD. And that's kind of how it was back then, is these stores just had exclusives, and that's how they kind of got you to buy these things. And all these editions have different stuff on them. So crazy or not, you can call me here. This was my mindset back in the 2007 era of DVD and physical media collecting. I've since kind of changed my ways. Again, things have changed so much. Pricing, buying the same movie over and over again, as I'm showing you 5 different editions of the movie. But again, that was just how I was collecting back in the day. But there was always one edition that I wanted that was not easy to come by. And I remember going to the store and searching this out. Now, the problem with this was each store, I maybe only got 1 or 2 of these, maybe not even, maybe just 1, I forget. But this was the Rob Zombie's Halloween Hot Topic exclusive. Now, what makes this any different than any of these? Nothing really as far as what's on the disc, but what's on the case is really what set this apart. Now, years and years I've tried to acquire this. Problem is, it doesn't really sell cheap still at all. And recently I did find this on eBay. I was contemplating getting it because I really did want a sealed version of this with the Hot Topic sticker and stuff like that. But this was such a steal of a price, I had to jump on it. Now, would I ever get it sealed in the future? If the price is right, maybe. But for horror, physical media history, and me wanting this for the last 18 years, I had to finally pull the trigger and get the Hot Topic exclusive Rob Zombie Halloween unrated director's cut. And on the top corner here, you can see Rob Zombie's signature. So this was the Hot Topic exclusive, is that there was some signed editions that Hot Topic got. And again, I remember calling Hot Topics. I remember going to Hot Topics and nobody had them. What ended up happening at that time is because there was such a limited stock. Like I said, each store got maybe 1 or 2 of these. But the employees would just snag them. So nobody really got a fair shot at these things, because I can remember message boards talking about it, and a lot of these Hot Topic kids would just get them, take them from the store because they were so rare and limited. So again, didn't want to go crazy on this video. I wanted to bring you back in time talking about physical media collecting. I know I have a lot of physical media lovers that watch this channel, and I love going backwards and talking about the stuff that was really important to me back in the day, and showcasing some of these things that maybe you guys just didn't know existed, like this Rob Zombie signed Halloween unrated director's cut from Hot Topic. So again, ideally, I wanted it sealed, because when it was sealed, it had a little sticker that said Hot Topic exclusive on there. I would have loved to have that, but I have not seen this for the price I paid for it in many, many years, if not ever. So I finally pulled the trigger on it and said, you know what, I'm just going to get this because it's something I've always wanted. And if something sealed comes along my way in the future, I'll pick it up and probably just sell this again, because it seems like it's still pretty damn valuable of an addition. So guys, let me know down below, were you as crazy as I was back in the day when it came to physical media collecting? Are you that way now? Again, I know everybody's got different rules for their collections, and I'm cool with that. Not everybody's going to buy what I buy. I'm not going to buy what everybody else buys, but everybody kind of has their own rules that they go by when it comes to their personal collections. For me, it's getting the stuff that I always wanted, either current or past, and kind of rounding out my collection with some of these additions, which I do think are super cool in the horror physical media history realm. So thank you guys for checking this one out. I've got more stuff I can showcase similar to what I did here. And if you haven't checked out my Phantasm limited edition Circus City exclusive video, you can definitely go back and check that one out. All right, gang, this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and like always, stay rad.